So we're reading today from Srimad-Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 4, The Process of Creation, text number 3 and 4. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Please repeat. Samstam Vigyaya Sanyasya Karma Trivargikam Chayat Vasudeve Bhagavati Atma Bhavam Dritam Gata. Next. Samstam Vigyaya Samyasya Karma Trivargikam Chayat Vasudeve Bhagavati Atma Bhavam Dritam Gata. Samstam Vigyaya Sanyasya Karma Trivargikam Chayat Vasudeve Bhagavati Atma Bhavam Dritam Gata. There's another verse, I'll just read it myself, since this is a couplet of two verses. Pracha Chemam Evartam Yanmam Prichata Satama Krishnanubhava Shravane Shradadano Mahamana. Please repeat. Samstam, death. Vigyaya, being informed. Sanyasya, renouncing. Karma, fruit of activities. Trivargikam, the three principles of religion. Economic development and sense gratification. Cha, also. Yat, what it may be. Vasudeve, unto Lord Krishna. Bhagavati, the personality of Godhead. Atma Bhavam, attraction of love. Dridham, firmly fixed. Gata, achieved. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. So this must be Sutta Goswami speaking here, yes. Sutta Goswami saying, "Oh, great sages, the great soul Maharaj Parikshit, constantly wrapped in thought of Lord Krishna, knowing well of his imminent death, renounced all sorts of fruitive activities, namely acts of religion, economic development, and sense gratification, and thus fixed himself firmly in his natural love for Krishna, and asked all these questions exactly as you are asking me." Purport. The three activities of religion, economic development, and sense gratification are generally attractive for conditioned souls struggling for existence in the material world. Right? Dharma, artha, kama. And then the fourth one here, moksha, is not mentioned, but these are sometimes called purushartha, a major theme in the Vedic literature, right? This progression, dharma, from dharma comes artha, economic development, from artha, sense gratification. And when sense gratification proves less than satisfactory, then moksha, liberation. Any questions, just speak up, or comments, feel free. Prabhupada, such regulated activities prescribed in the Vedas are called karma kandya, conception of life, and householders are generally recommended to follow the rules just to enjoy material prosperity both in this life and in the next. Most people are attracted by such activities. Even in the activities of the modern godless civilization, people are more concerned with economic development and sense gratification without any religious sentiments. As a great emperor of the world, Maharaj Parikshit had to observe such regulations of the Vedic Karma Kandya section, but by his slight association with Shukadev Goswami, he could perfectly understand that Lord Krishna, the absolute personality of Godhead, Vasudeva, for whom he had a natural love since his birth, is everything, and thus he fixed his mind firmly upon him, renouncing all modes of Vedic Karma Kandya activities. This perfectional stage is attained by a jnani after many births. The jnanis, or the empiric philosophers engaged for liberation, are thousands of times better than the fruitive workers, and out of hundreds of thousands of such jnanis, one is liberated factually. Quite philosophical here. Empiric philosophers, this refers to those who are trying to understand the supreme absolute truth by their own endeavors. It's called aroha panta, when one tries from the lower stratum to attain the transcendence by one's own effort, the upward path, in contrast to avaroha panta, which is the path of the Vedas and the Shruti, hearing from an authority.
Does this jnanis refer to yogi who meditate, or let's say person who study literature and try to find out gold sources of existing knowledge?
Yeah, more like that, knowledge and scriptural study and philosophical speculation. The yogis are kind of in a third category. That's they're trying by sensual asceticism to attain that freedom from material entanglement. But this is referring to, in the verse, to Vasudeva, which Prabhupada will point out here is quoted in the Bhagavad Gita. Out of many thousands of such liberated persons, even one person is rarely found who can firmly fix his mind on the lotus feet of Lord Sri Krishna, as declared by the Lord himself in Bhagavad Gita 7:19. Anybody know that verse? Bahunam janmanam ante gyanavan mam prapadyate vasudeva sarvam iti samahatma sadurlabha. Prabhupada here. Maharaj Parikshit is specially qualified with the word Mahamana, which puts him on an equal level with the Mahatmas described in the Bhagavad Gita. In the later age also there have been many Mahatmas of this type, and they also gave up all karma kandya conceptions of life, solely and wholly dependent on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And now Prabhupada will quote 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 examples of 6 examples of modern day. Well, Prahlad Maharaj is not modern, but the other 5 are modern day, in the modern age, within the last 500 years. Examples of Mahatmas who, like Maharaj Parikshit, have transcended the fruitive activities, the karma, kanda endeavor to enjoy this world by pious fruitive activities. Prabhupada contrasted that implicitly here with modern karmis who are not pious. They simply reject religion and work to enjoy life. That's indirectly criticized here as a short-sighted program. At least the Vedic karmis, they know that they are aiming for material benefits in this life, but also in the next life. They will come back in a more progressive standing. This is interesting that there is this progression, starting with the karma kandya, and then the jnana kanda, and then I think it's called upasana kanda, but it's leading to bhakti. Karma, jnana, bhakti. This is something that I think is generic. There, at least Ravindra Swarup, he's got a PhD in religion. He claims that there are these three threads in all the religions of the world. But one thing about the Lord Chaitanya, the Gaudiya Vaishnava scriptures, according to Ravindra Swarup, he's never seen any religion that has so clearly distinguished these three strands and particularly delineated bhakti. He also has a theory that it's actually a dialectic where, karma is the idea that, God is material, has a material form, or there is a material result or process that is counteracted by the antithesis of jnana, where the material form and process of God and religion is denied, and then a synthesis in form of bhakti, where there isn't a form and a name and a process, but it's not material. Anyway.
Upasana, that refers to like ritualistic worship. Or something like that.
Yeah,
Like
upasana
temples,
kanda.
churches, liturgic.
It's a question whether that is karma kanda, or what is the distinction here between karma kanda and upasana kanda, if it's not bhakti. We would say that, okay, we're worshiping Tulasi Devi and performing Mangalarti and offering food now to the Gandharviki Giridhari, but we wouldn't call this karma kanda. We're hopefully doing this with some feeling, and therefore it's bhakti, and I guess that's what is meant by upasana kanda. Otherwise, what's the distinction?
He wrote a book about.
He's in process, actually. Now he's retired finally from his managerial responsibilities, and now for the rest of his life he's going to do these books, which he's been...
But he wrote one book, I forgot the title.
Right, Encounters with the Lord of the Universe. That was a series of Back to Godhead articles, but now he's going to actually write several books, which he's been working on his whole life. He's been giving seminars. Defeating Mayavadi Philosophy is one important. Another one is Cure of Souls, we were talking about yesterday, where he wants to talk about pastoral education and dealing with congregation members who have obstacles and need help, and social psychology and like that. And then what more? He also is I forget. He has several other themes that he's preached upon his whole life, but never had the opportunity to write, but now he's going to do it. Okay, so let's go on with Prabhupada's purport here. Now, the first one that Prabhupada speaks about is Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya, who is Lord Krishna himself, taught us Shikshashtaka 8. There's a lot of Sanskrit here, verses, but I'll hop over them because we have a limited amount of time. The translation of this Shikshashtaka 8 is, as given here, is thus. Lord Krishna, who's the lover of many devotees, women, may embrace this fully surrendered maid servant, or may trample me with his feet, or he may render me brokenhearted by not being present before me for a long duration of time. But still he's nothing less than the absolute Lord of my heart. So here we have definitely freedom from karma. The idea that, okay, I'll worship Krishna because it makes me happy. No, here we have unmotivated or unconditional is the word that Prabhupada uses, love of Radharani. Whether Krishna makes me miserable by, neglecting me and maybe even associating with my rival, in this, it's called bridal mysticism kind of idea, then still I will love him. That's certainly without any material motive. Okay, Prabhupada goes on here. Srila Rupa Goswami spoke thus. And another Sanskrit I'll hop over. Translation, O Lord of the poor, do what you like with me. Give me either mercy or punishment, but in this world I have none to look to except your lordship. The Chataka bird always prays for the cloud, regardless of whether it showers, rains, or throws a thunderbolt. There's this example given of this bird which apparently does not drink water from the ground, but it will only drink it in the sky from the cloud directly. Our ornithologist, Ishwara Puri, he actually said this is a fact. Yeah, you agree?
Yeah, it's tornsvala in Swedish.
Oh, yeah?
They can hardly stand on the ground, but they can kind of sleep while they're flying. And it's like amazing.
Svala.
Svala. Tornsvala.
Tornsvala. Okay. Krishna's material energy is endlessly mutable, it says in the Bhagavad Gita. So carrying on here. That was Rupa Goswami, Chaitanya Rupa Goswami. Now Madhavendra Puri. That actually is going back a step in history, before Lord Chaitanya. But anyway, Srila Madhavendra Prabhupada, Srila Madhavendra Puri, the grand spiritual master of Lord Chaitanya, right? It was Lord Chaitanya, Ishwara Puri, and Madhavendra Puri, the one who actually introduced ecstatic bhakti in this sampradaya, Brahma sampradaya. The grand spiritual master of Lord Chaitanya took leave of all karma kandya obligations in the following words. Quote, O my evening prayers, all good unto you. O my morning bath, I bid you goodbye. O demigods and forefathers, please excuse me. I am unable to perform any more offerings for your pleasure. Now I have decided to free myself from all reactions to sins, simply by remembering anywhere and everywhere the great descendant of Yadu and the great enemy of Kamsa, Lord Krishna. I think this is sufficient for me. What is the use of further endeavors? People who do karma kanda, if you say that you should give this up, then they think, oh, this is sinful. If I don't do this, then I will get, not only not get my positive results, but I will also get punishment for this. But here the devotee is fearless. It's enough just to worship Krishna. Because Krishna does say in Bhagavad Gita, right? Aham tvam sarva papebhyo. Don't worry, I'll take care. Like he said to Arjuna, don't worry, it's Krishna. Arjuna had so many apprehensions in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita. Krishna, don't worry. Okay, then that was Madhavendra Puri. And then there's another one. Madhavendra Puri said further, let the sharp moralist accuse me of being illusioned. I don't mind. Experts in Vedic activities may slander me as being misled. Friends and relatives may call me frustrated. My brothers may call me a fool. The wealthy Mammonites may point me out as mad, and the learned philosophers may assert that I am much too proud. Still, my mind does not budge an inch from the determination to serve the lotus feet of Govinda, though I am unable to do it. So you may not become popular by Krishna consciousness, because after all, it's one out of millions, Krishna says, can actually become serious about perfection, and of those, even one in the masses will actually understand Krishna consciousness. So it's a confidential subject matter. So we may not become popular, but still, Madhavendra Puri, he doesn't mind. He just sticks to his own determination, as he says it here, to do Krishna, and that's it. Okay, that was Madhavendra Puri, and now Prahlad Maharaj is quoted from 7th Canto, and it says here, religion, economic development, and sense gratification are celebrated as three means of attaining the path of salvation. Of these, ikshatrayi, especially, that is, knowledge of the self, knowledge of fruitive acts, and logic, and also politics and economics, are different means of livelihood. All these are different subjects of Vedic education, and therefore I consider them temporary engagements. On the other hand, surrender unto the Supreme Lord Vishnu is a factual gain in life, and I consider it the ultimate truth. This reminds me, one devotee father came to Almvik, and his critique was about his grandchildren was that praying is not an occupation. So he had a point. We have an obligation to educate our children so that they can function in the world, and that's a fact. But we also, as representative, as competent parents, we have the grave responsibility of giving our own example and also giving clear signals to our next generation that the perfection of life is to finish up the material existence and to go back to Godhead. The one does not preclude the other. Okay, that was Prahlad Maharaj. Now there's just one more section here of the purport. The whole matter, Prabhupada here, the whole matter is concluded in the Bhagavad Gita 241. Anybody know that verse? Vyavasaya yatmaka buddhir ekeha kurunandana. Bahushaka yanantascha buddhayo vyavasayinam. No. I didn't get the fourth line correct here. Yeah. Bahushaka yanantascha. Bahushaka, one becomes many. That those who are resolute in this path, are those who are on this path are resolute in purpose, and their aim is one. Those who are irresolute, intelligence becomes many-branched. So Prabhupada quotes that, and Prabhupada, as Vyavasayatmaka Buddhi, or the absolute path of perfection. Sri Baladeva Vidyabhushana, a great Vaishnava scholar, defines this as Bhagavad Archana Rupaika Nishkama Karma Bir Vishuddha Chitta, accepting transcendental loving service to the Lord as the prime duty, free from fruitive reaction. So Parikshit Maharaj was perfectly right when he firmly accepted the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, renouncing all karma-kandya conceptions of life. So that was a significant purport here. In the last minute here, I would just like to mention that Prabhupada gave a class on this verse, which you heard yesterday, right? Taking advantage of Prabhupada's own purport on this verse. He began by this phrase in the previous verse, Krishna Nu Bhava Shravane, describing Maharaj Parikshit's rapt in thought of Lord Krishna, this rapt attention. Why? Because of imminent death. This is a general function of religion, to give security in this threat, for intelligent people who realize the inevitability of imminent death. And Prabhupada, he relates it to this term, Krishna Bhavanamrita, which is where he says that he took the name Krishna consciousness. And then Prabhupada, huh?
I was wondering something.
Yeah. Okay, there's then Prabhupada, he mentions here that it says here sannyas, detachment, renunciation. And then Prabhupada says that people cannot do that. That's because we want this material body, therefore we get it. So then fruitive activities. But then Prabhupada describes the necessity of jnana, to understand that we're not this body, which Prabhupada so much emphasized. And actually it's explained that our bodily conception of life is due to our forgetfulness of Krishna, or even, it's difficult to bear, but animosity to Krishna, a feeling of being envious of Krishna's centrality, something like that. So that's very difficult to deal with, but that's ultimately the only solution to getting out from this entanglement of fruitive activities. Now finally, here's an interesting book. It's Borijan Prabhu's a summary study, an overview of the first 4 cantos, a great resource for the Bhagavatam study. And here, Borijan Prabhu says like this, summarizing this section: one can become truly detached from matter when one becomes fully attracted to Krishna. Only then will the world's glories, in quotation marks, pale. In other words, they will become colorless when one becomes attached to Krishna. How different from the people of today was Maharaj Parikshit's mood as he faced death. Srila Prabhupada mocked the mood of the contemporary people in a lecture he gave on Bhagavatam 2434 in Los Angeles on June of 72. That was what you listened to yesterday. And then Prabhupada, he has a funny, Prabhupada said, yesterday I went to the bank and there was a cinema signboard. What was that? And then Karan Dar says the title of the movie was, Is There Sex After Death? It was some pornographic theater, So they're mocking, this religious problem. Is there life after death? So, is there sex after death in their pornography? Prabhupada, yes, laughter. You see, because this material life means sex, so they're seeking sex after death also. So then Prabhupada critiques that. Okay, Joy. Any questions or comments?
But he explained on the lecture. He said, actually, yes, there is. But he explained that because you take another body,
right,
another birth, then you continue.
Yeah.
And then to that extent, he said, yes, there is.
Yes. Yeah. Yayatam mam prapadyante, if you want, then Krishna says, yeah, okay, there you go. Take a body, but it may not be a Swedish body or a high class, human body. It could be a body of whatever, something not very happy situation. But sex is not unreal. Sex is because there is Krishna's personal exchanges in the spiritual platform, which we cannot understand. Just like a child cannot understand grown-ups, mature sexual activities. Prabhupada, he joked that,